All right, hello. Welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging. We are back to playing Symbaroum tonight. We are continuing Wrath of the Warden, and in 10 years we'll be done with Wrath of the Warden. And then the next 10 years will be on the next book, and then 10 years of that. We got a plan. It's all gonna be great. But yeah, we're back.
Okay.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. You're gonna have brand new characters by then. It's gonna be fantastic. Melissa and Jeremy are probably gonna have brand new characters by the end of tonight. By the end of the first 10 minutes, to be honest, like we're gonna see how it goes. It's really gonna dictate how things are gonna go these first couple of rolls. No Kipser again, but we do have Longs back. Kipser should be back next week. I think we're gonna have Atolia back next week. That's the goal, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what party composition looks like when Kipser gets. I just want to threaten everyone every time. It's fun. It's kind of fun to do this.
I love it.
It really is. Usually I just threaten with sanity. I'm just like, oh, you're all going to go insane like Delta Green, Call of Cthulhu. But I don't really threaten for death. Now I'm like, yeah. I didn't get my kill on Monday, so I got to get my kill tonight, I guess. That's what it is.
I'm hoping
really
for tomorrow
close.
myself. I
really
I
close.
keep trying.
Yeah, that's true. I was this close. I
know.
I rolled pretty poorly on Monday, and my trade did not. So that's basically what it came down to. Oh goodness. So let's do some quick intros and then let's dive in. So Long, tell us about Jinzo, your character.
Yeah, I'm a young adult male playing an Ambrian Ambrian Duelist. And the distinct features on me, I've got some piercing turquoise eyes. If you look right below it, it's a nice scar running across my cheek. So there's something there.
Okay, there's something there. You're not going to tell us it yet. You're just going to dangle that to us and we'll figure that out later. Get that in scene. Look at that in scene. You have to bond with one of these people, and then we met
Didn't
you.
he fall down drunk whenever the ground collapsed?
Yeah, it's a
I think he
fresh one.
cut himself shaving.
It'd be great if it's nothing actually, but it just looks like a fencing scar.
Oh god, it's like the Joker stuff. It's like, oh, I'm gonna tell you how I got these scars. Except the scar, like the real story is just super mundane, or you were just born with it. It's just like a little tiny birthmark or something. Great. Fantastic. All right. We have a ways to go still, obviously down in the caves, but when we get back up to the city, I'm curious to see what we can learn more about Jinzo and where he's been hanging out. I don't know if Long has figured that out yet, but we don't need to yet.
I've got a whole
we got time. Oh, sweet. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I can't wait. You should send me that. I think I should probably have that. It'd be something very useful for me to have. But we'll go over there. All right. And I want also really quick, thank you to everyone who's throwing out bits and subs and stuff. I know some of it's you people on here, but it's a lot of bits. Others, Kat, Griff, we really do appreciate it. Like, it's pretty awesome. We got an awesome little hype train going on right now. So we really do appreciate it. It's great. And they're going to need those bits because they're going to die in a minute. One person who's probably okay, he's probably fine, is Madjac. So tell us about Madjac, Aaron.
Madjac Maker. Madjac. My slave name. Elves abducted me. Well, in fairness, my father became an abomination, was hell-bent on killing me and my mother. Took her to the grave. They stopped him, stole me to make me an Ironsworn. I said to hell with that. Learned from him, trained with him, betrayed them, ran back to Thistlehold to make money hunting monsters. You can still call me Madjac. It's the only name I know.
Perfect. Next up, we have the row of dead people walking. Rowena. Melissa, tell us about Rowena.
I mean, why bother? Because I'm about to die. And then,
okay.
You know.
Jeremy, tell us about Glee. Called your bluff. Oh,
so she's an Ambrian wizard, also kind of a apprentice artifact crafter. So she's the bookworm of the group who spent a really long time with her back to the new person in the party last time, attempting to fight and do those kinds of things, and apparently made a really bad decision.
We talked about it. I think it's a great decision. It's a wonderful decision. I said the first couple rolls are really going to dictate the tone of this evening. We'll see. Mm-hmm. It could go. Mm-hmm. It could snowball so fast. But it could also just be fine. Like, we'll find out in a minute. And then finally, Jeremy, tell us about Gwydion.
Yeah, Gwydion Forrester is a big old barbarian warrior, also known as Iron Eye, because he's missing an eye, got the eye patch with the World Tree symbol on it. But more importantly, he's a maker of good decisions. a diplomat extraordinaire, a man that values honor and family values, and totally keeps his cool at all times.
Yeah, if there's anything we've learned from this campaign is that Gwydion is most certainly the diplomatic face of the party. Like that's
fact.
That's how it's going to go.
Yep, and ready to just survive all the amazing things that are coming our way, or drown terribly. I don't know.
We're gonna start off with a roll on the thing that you never want to roll. That's what we're gonna do. Okay. So
swimming? Are we doing a swimming roll?
We'll see. Derek's not here. Don't worry. Okay. So last time around, you all finished climbing down the sinkhole, and you found this circuitous cave system beneath Thistlehold. There were these smooth floors. There's streams of water, layers of moss and fungi. There were multiple tunnels heading out in various ways out of that big cavern of rubble. You picked one because you heard some sounds. Madjac, you heard some sounds of fighting down the tunnels, and when you investigated, you found a relatively well-dressed, although obviously disheveled from being trapped beneath rubble, but a relatively well-dressed Ambrian who was fending off a pack of Virans, these blind lizard creatures that explore the caves down here, right? You dispatched them. It was sort of a tight fight here and there, but eventually the momentum swung in your favor, and you did manage to kill all of them, and we got to meet Jinzo. Considering there is safety in numbers, he decided to accompany the party, and you guys are continue your exploration of the cave. You're trying to explore them as best you can, figure out what's down here. And you've only gone through a couple rooms so far, but you've started to do so. You looked around, you found signs of old ruins is one thing you've learned, that there was some kind of ancient, even some kind of ancient like alchemical laboratory down here. Gwydion, you found a black rock with adhesive qualities that we all know is a magnet, but
the witch stone.
Gwydion did. Which was very fun. Atolia, Rihanna, you managed to collect some interesting mushroom samples, stuff that might be used for hallucinations, hallucinogens, and others, I think, for healing. And then you kind of push further and further, and eventually you discovered a hot spring. And Rowena and Gwydion, you spotted a broken, like, bronze pipe protruding from a wall. You got really, really close to the edge of this water, steams rising up from the hot spring, and then suddenly a creature burst from the water and tried to wrap what looked like these almost wing-like appendages around Rowena. So if you want to picture a manta ray, very much like that. So we're gonna start off. And by the way, manta ray, I think they're cool creatures. They literally jump out of the water. It's pretty freaking cool. And I swam with them when I was like a young kid, so I've always been kind of a little obsessed with them. But anyhow, let's jump over to a little quick map, and we'll see some really important rolls. I need both Rowena and Gwydion to make a vigilant test. I need you to make it at -1 though, because I'm going to say the steam and stuff coming up from the hot spring is going to give you just that extra bit of hesitation. This is effectively to see if they're going to get a surprise on you, a surprise attack, a free attack, effectively.
Okay.
So
You'll be fine.
both of you, vigilant -1, please.
I would like to use an audience bit to roll that straight since my vigilance is 7.
Okay. What happened to
I'm
your
also
voice
below
there?
10, and I may do the same.
Oh, wow.
I know.
Okay. Oh, that's how we're playing. See how many complications
yeah.
I got then. Here we go.
That's all right. I'm still going to fail. Don't worry.
Okay.
Nat 20.
Wow.
And I rolled an 8
I
over
knew
7. So I also failed.
Okay.
Wow.
So,
Amazing.
Nat 20, Jeremy. Really?
Nat 20.
Wow.
You tell me it's important. I'm going to botch it as hard as I can.
so this is what happens. So the first splash comes up over near Rowena as she's peeking out at one of these pipes. And the shadow comes up out of the water faster than you would have thought possible. And you see standing at the edge of this relatively deep hot spring, there's this creature with a face that you can see there's fangs and eyes, but ultimately it's this really long, flat, malleable like extension. It's very thin, big like wings almost. And they immediately try to wrap around Rowena. Gwydion, you turn and you look and you see this shadow come up and wrap around her. But by turning to look at her, you don't notice that another one pops up right next to you and tries to do the same thing. So they are going to get
old blind spot.
Yeah, it gets your blind on the eye. All right, so they're both going to get a free attack because it's a surprise. So go ahead and both of you roll defense, and it's going to be -3.
Okay.
on your defense rolls.
All right.
And if you're doing the system, you can go ahead and target their accuracy.
Oh, that's right. Is there a thing on the thing to scan? Oh, I see it now.
Yeah. Or you could just roll vigilant -3. It's fine.
Is it vigilant or defense?
I'm sorry, defense. Whatever it is your defense is. So most of you, I think it should be quick.
There we go.
Yeah.
-3. This is going to be great.
I'm excited.
Oh
boy.
Okay, I rolled a 19 that time. So slightly better.
Okay, Gwydion
is terrible.
Is improving. Okay, so Gwydion failed. Rowena, how'd you do?
Also failed because of the -3. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I would have failed anyway. Actually,
Okay.
It's not a good roll.
I have good news and bad news for the two of you. First of all, both of you get wrapped up. And I'll say Madjac and Jinzo, you both hear the sounds of a commotion. You two have been kind of exploring, looking at some other things here and there. You don't immediately see everything that's happened, but you can hear the sudden burst of sound coming from the south. But Gwydion and Rowena, both of you are effectively grappled. You are wrapped up in the wings of these creatures. And I need both of you to make a strong test modified by their strong. So both of you make a strong test. You don't take any damage.
Strong on strong action.
Strong on strong.
Nice.
I rolled a 5 on mine.
Okay.
Okay. Success.
Okay. So both of you, so you can feel as they kind of wrap around you that they try to effectively throw you. You can feel yourselves almost being thrown back into the water, but right as your bodies start to move in that direction, the liquid maybe the skin of the wings themselves becomes too lubricated, and it just slips off you. And instead of being thrown into the water, you are effectively face to face with these creatures now. And you see as they slip free from you, they are quite large, much larger than you would give them credit for. And they have these giant not giant teeth. They have a giant mouth with these like hundreds of these little tiny teeth. And when they it looks like they were trying to throw you back into the water. And that is the end of this surprise. And we're going to go into normal initiative now. Madjac, you hear the sounds of something going on to the south of you. It is your turn.
Screams.
What would you like to do?
Definite screams.
Can I move up onto this rock here?
Yeah, that's going to take I'll say this, that's going to, since it's more like you're climbing, just give me a quick, what's it called? Yeah, just give me a quick test to just climb up really fast.
This is not going to go well. Quick is not my forte, guys.
Just to quickly scramble up.
Nope.
Okay. I'll say you try to get up, but you kind of slide off to the side. You don't get up, but you also don't fall prone or anything like that. You just don't quite make it all the way up. Remember that everything's kind of coated in this moss, so as you try to climb up, it just mashes underneath your boots and your palms, and you just kind of slip back down.
Is that my whole move action, or do I have line of sight anywhere?
I'll say that was. I'll say you still have an action. If you want to take an action to get line of sight, you can take an action to get line of sight, and we can call it there then. So that was your move to try to climb up. That failed, but then you can use your second to actually get line of sight for next turn if you want.
I'll do that.
All right, perfect. So you step out, and you can see that there are some creatures that have burst out of the water onto Rowena and onto Gwydion, and they're attacking them. And the thing is, guys, is that it's their turn, as they actually have higher initiative than you all, except for Madjac, who's just higher. So they're going to try it again. Oh, God, I didn't mean to. Did I delete that? Okay, there we go. So they're going to do the same thing they just did. I'm going to try to attack. So go ahead and roll more defenses against their accuracy. So your defense -3. So it could be quick, I assume. As they move incredibly quickly and deftly.
Yeah, so we're rolling against their accurate, correct?
You're rolling against accurate, yeah. Okay. So basically,
my turn for a nat 20.
Okay, you guys.
No.
Okay.
Yep. Fail.
Right.
Fail.
Once more, they try to wrap themselves around and throw you into the water. Go ahead and roll those strong tests again. As again, even though they lost their grip, they're trying to get their grip back and throw you into the water again.
Fail.
Okay. Good news for Gwydion is that you managed to slip free once more. Unfortunately, Rowena, you get hurled through the air. You scrape it, you scrape against like these chunks of rock hanging from the cavern wall. There's like bones and stuff on the ground. You smash down flat into the water, and you're going to go ahead and roll a D4.
Okay.
Normally, you would take a D4 damage for this, but I'm going to cut it in half because you are landing in water. So just take 1 as opposed to the 2. It's not. You can't mitigate it by armor, so it's just 1 damage. However, as you land into the water, you notice that you are not alone in here. As you can see that another one of these creatures is down here, as if it was waiting just for one of you to get thrown back in.
Oh, God.
So you get thrown into the water by one, who then is going to use its move action to dive back down into the water after you. But that's effectively, it's done. And then this other one down here that was waiting for you is going to make an attack. Same thing. Go ahead and roll. Hang on, let me double check my notes on this. So, go ahead and roll another defense there, Rowena, against its accuracy, as it once more tries to wrap you up. It's basically trying to tag team you. Okay. And there are
Also
a lot of
a fail.
dice being rolled. I got to turn that off. Okay. You are now grappled, except this time it's not going to try to throw you. This time it's dragging you down. Your head is completely submerged and you are effectively drowning. Now, rules for drowning this game, I looked for them. They're not easy to find. There are some rules for this in one of the APs, and we're going to follow them. So effectively, you need to make, on your turn, you're going to make a strong test each turn just to avoid taking damage from the strain of no oxygen. And if you pass the strong test, you don't take damage. If you fail, you take a point of damage. Is basically what it is. And then there's other rules for like attacking and stuff like that, and what we'll cover when we get to.
So Rita was screaming. She was screaming, and then you stop hearing screaming.
And the cave ray that tried, that's what they're called, cave rays that tried to get Gwydion in and failed, is instead going to dive back into the water. Now, these things have an ability called acrobatics, which allow them to essentially make a quick test to try to get away from you without you getting that free attack.
Yep.
You can go ahead and roll it. So go ahead and give me a D20.
All right.
Okay, that they will succeed with what you rolled.
I rolled well for them.
So they will manage to dive back into the water, and there are now 3 in the water with Rowena wrapped up by one of them. Gwydion, you are no longer in a threatened position. However, that is the end of their turn. Let me go ahead and turn that last one visible. And then we'll jump to you, Gwydion. It is now your turn. As you just saw, you and Reyna got attacked at the edge of the pool by these creatures. Reyna got thrown in. You managed to hold your ground. And you can see as she's being dragged down to the bottom, there's steam coming up. Visibility is not great. And she is surrounded by 3 of these in the water. What do you do, heroic Gwydion?
His best hope is that they're the sort of creatures that do like the whole blood frenzy thing. And like a big old idiot, the one that just did its acrobats to get past him, he's only a hair like less quick than it, and he just jumps in right after it, doing a big, almost like a butterfly stroke, but with the 2 spiky ends of his crow's beaks, trying to plunge those into the back of it.
Okay.
And maybe if it starts bleeding, its kin will start to nod it.
Okay, so you're going to
He's a brave
leap
man,
in.
not a smart man.
Hey, I love it. You're going to leap in and you're going to try to make an attack against one of them. Okay, so damage is somewhat affected by submerged stuff, but I'll say because you're leaping in and you're kind of doing like a cannonball shot, just go ahead and roll your attack like normal. Obviously, it's against their defense, so for them it'll be quick. They are very, very slick, fast creatures.
I believe it. I would think
this is going to go well. This is going to be fine.
I told you those first couple of rolls were really important.
Oh god.
And we did horribly with them.
Did okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna fail
Okay.
on that first one, and I got the offhand that I can try, I guess.
Go for it.
Yeah, so we'll do that against their defense as well. And okay, well that one will do. It didn't fumble damage, but it's it's
Okay.
a little something.
You did 9 points of damage. They actually don't have any protection, so all of that
Okay.
goes through. It hits their It doesn't kill them, but it hits their threshold. Now, actually, I'm sorry. This is where one of those damage things comes into play. Since
Right,
the one
it
that
might be-
you're, yeah. So normally a submerged creature, normally like damage is halved. While swimming, but I'm going to say that they're more like waiting as they just dove back in, so they haven't fully plummeted yet.
Okay.
So for this attack, I'll say the damage goes through, but in future attacks, if they're underneath, it's going to be halved. So, but you do get a free attack or knocking prone is useless here.
I don't
you
feel
would
like
think.
knocking
Yeah.
prone is going to do me as much good. So yeah, I'll do the
Mhm.
I'll do the follow up on that. Give it
Okay.
a try.
All right, give it a go.
Maybe I'll get lucky.
Okay.
I'm just going to keep rolling dog turds tonight.
You leap into the water, you swing, it dives and whips around you, it moves so quickly, then you just happen to get lucky with like this backhand with your second swing, and you manage to rake it across like this sleek, thin dermis that they have, and you see water begin to pour into the pool. But as you try to swing a third time, it rights itself, and you see it starts to dip and swim around you. It's moving. They're big and they're wide, but they're thin and they're moving so fast that it's just hard to keep up with them.
God, why did I do this?
Because you're a hero.
Damn
That's what heroes do.
Big damn hero.
All right,
That's
now
fine.
to the man who just met these people, Jinzo. What would you like to do?
Hearing the splashes, screams, look towards Madjac, nod at each other, and we split around this rock. I'm going to run towards the body of water.
Okay, so we'll say your movement action will take you basically up to the shore, we'll say. Like you can rush up, and you can see down in the water now that there is one of them that is like basically on the surface splashing around with Gwydion, and you can see that there's two more that have started to descend into the water, and you can see Rowena is being dragged down, little bubbles coming up. And there's also like skeletons and stuff of what look like old lizard skeletons. Maybe they used to feed on these Virons, and there's also a human skeleton at the very bottom, or humanoid skeleton.
I'll spend my
We'll loot that body and Rowena's body after we kill them.
All right, buddy, what do you want to do?
I'll spend my combat action as extra movement, and I'll dive head first.
All right, you dive in, and which one do you want to go for? Like, do you want to dive? Do you want to literally submerge yourself beneath the water, or do you want to stay on the surface like Gwydion?
No, I'm going to dive in, swim towards one of them that is strangling Ruina.
Okay, you're such a hero. Okay, on your next turn, you're going to also start doing the strong test to hold your breath. Atolia, it's her turn, and she's just like, "Ooh, mushroom," and she picks it up. No, if you guys want her to do something, I'm fine with that. Like we can use her. It's just you guys tell me what you want to do.
Yeah. I don't know enough about her character to be able to
Yeah.
make a reasonable decision. So
At the very least, we'll say she scrambles up from the little crater she had climbed down into to explore some mushrooms, and we'll say she's nearby in case emergency healing of some kind or might be necessary. And then it's Rowena. Rowena, give me a strong test.
I'm going to take a +1 on this.
Sure. This is just a flat strong. It's not modified by anything. This is just purely to see if the strain of no oxygen and being beneath the water is starting to wear on you already.
Yeah, Rowena's a tall beanpole book nerd, so her strength of 8
You
isn't
got this.
particularly.
Oh,
good.
Hey, I got a 6.
You're good.
Okay.
You're good. Okay. So it is your turn. Now, all you really can do in this kind of situation, because you are clearly grappled, is there's really not much you can do other than just try to breathe. You are effectively grappled with them until they fail a strong test is effectively where we're at. So the rules on when that strong test happens, it could be their turn. But if you want to try to roll a strong test, I'll say go ahead and try to roll a strong test to break free from their grab. I'm okay with that.
Okay. So the first strong test was breathing. The
That was
first strong
breathing.
test was for breathing. Okay.
And now you have to roll
Okay.
if you're trying to break free from them.
Okay.
I am actually. No, I'm not going to penalize it. No, I'm not going to be too much of a dick. I was thinking about penalizing it because you're in their area, like you're in the water with them. I think I should penalize it now that I'm thinking about it. I'm talking myself into it. Rowena, take a minus 2. I
But
think
you're in the water. You don't have something to like leverage yourself against.
Yeah,
I get it.
You're
Completely foreign
mid-floating,
environment.
And they're amphibians, and yeah.
You
remain-
I rolled an 11.
You remain wrapped up in their warm and lovely embrace. Madjac, we come back to you. What do you like to
So,
do?
can I see the one that Gwydion is fighting on the surface?
Yeah, I'll say if you want to use your movement action to get a line of sight on that one, you can do that and then fire at the one that Gwydion was fighting on the surface. Yes.
Absolutely.
And possibly finish them off because they did take a big hack from Gwydion. And so it will be.
Let me target it real fast.
Yep. It'll be a -5 to your roll. Again, fast, quick. They shift and move. Oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
The good news
cannot
is that
win
you
for
hit.
damage.
Those D10s are merciless.
The bad news
Reminds-
is that has not enough damage. You rolled 1 on the damage die, and you just barely scrape it, and you see the
Holy
arrow maybe
crap.
skids on the water before it hits it, so it takes away a lot of its stopping power, and it just scrapes it, and it's still alive, unfortunately.
I don't think I've rolled over a 5 on arrow damage this entire campaign.
Okay. I think the one that you have been attacking, Gwydion and Madjac, goes next. It's going to... I think it's just going to attack you. As the two of you are wading in the water now, it's at the surface. It's kind of swimming around you a bit. It's going to attack you. So go ahead and roll defense. And this is, again, against its accuracy.
Accurate. Okay.
Yep. Because it's just... And it's... oh, my God.
Another. I think
natural
is that
20.
another nat 20?
That's a nat 20.
Another
That's
nat 20. Oh,
Your
yeah.
protection
Your
is solid.
protection roll. Your protection roll, you rolled
Yeah.
an 8, so you're good. So it bites you. It actually just kind of you can sense it maybe loses a little patience, and it just starts trying to gnaw into you. But when it does, its teeth and there's again rows of them, almost like rows of shark teeth, bite down. But your armor holds, as it would only be doing like 2 points of damage to you. And so that's its turn. Then it's going to be the one that threw Rowena into, and it's going to make an attack against Rowena. Now, it's attacking you, Rowena. It's trying to bite you while you are wrapped up in the grip of this thing, which means it gets advantage, just so you know. So there's that. So just to remind everybody, advantage, as I scroll down a bit, as I always forget, it gets +2 on the test and plus 1d4 damage. So Rowena, roll your defense, and it's going to be a total of -5. So you can just roll your quick -5. Okay. It does succeed in so what'd you roll, a 17?
Yeah.
Okay, so you fail, and it is going to get that attack off, and let me double check its damage.
Protection of 3.
It's going to do 4 points of damage, so it's going to be 2 and 2, 2 base, and then 2 from the advantage it gets. So it's going to do 4 points of damage to you. You manage to block out, your armor manages to absorb 3 points of that, so you do take another point of damage as Rowena's blood continues to to sort of fill.
The threshold number in this little toughness section is just for like a one shot, right? Like
Yes, correct.
taking all
Yeah.
of that in one. Okay.
That's correct.
Okay.
All right. The other one that's holding you is going to continue to just tighten the grip and just continue to try to bring you further and further down in the water. It needs to do this by basically rolling another strong test. So roll strong.
And take a plus 1 on
Of course you are. Well, I'm going to take like a +10. There you go. All right. That's
Doesn't
another
matter. I rolled a
fail.
16.
You roll a 16, and you are even further. You are getting further and further. It's a very deep pool. It's a hot spring. It's bubbling up, and you are very far down at this point. And those two rays are continuing to kind of circle with her. One's still at the surface, however, and that is their turn. And then it comes to Gwydion.
No.
Okay.
Sorry, we can't hear you. It sounds more like.
Right.
Okay. I think Gwydion's a canny enough fighter to know you can't really swing your arms around in the water, but instead maybe do like a reverse grip with the crow's beak. And what he's going to do is he's more like pulling with the spike back against where he felt where it bit on him. He's just going to pull backwards. You can still pull pretty well in the water, and that's going to be his attack.
Okay. So the rules from Curse of the River Goddess say that when you fight while waiting, you need two successes. You need to make back-to-back successes. I don't like that rule, so I'm just going to say once, and then you're going to have like a -2 on the attack. I don't see the need to roll twice. So just take a -2
I
for
will
being in
do
the
that.
water.
So versus their defense, and I'll put in a -2. I respect it. Here comes the fail.
Please roll well. Please roll well.
That -2, made a difference. That's okay.
Okay.
Because I got
So
the other hand.
You swing with the first, it misses. You go with the second one. Again, now you're like the last time around, you had leapt in, and I figured you attacked as you were coming down. Like this time, you're just trying to like.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get
Okay.
it. This is good. This is great.
Oh boy,
All right.
Your
Here
rolls.
we go.
Your rolls.
that's an 18 on that
Oh,
die.
Lord.
And that is a failure. It's just too fast. It's like you're not able to kill it. It's bleeding profusely. Maybe some of the blood's getting in your eyes from the water splashing around. And every time you think you get it, you miss. And it's just like a flood, like a splash of water that you're attacking, and suddenly it's behind you. It's just moving that quickly.
I think we're going to need Atolia to shoot her bow when it's her turn.
Wow.
I think we're going to need her.
That's it. Okay. If something you want her to do, just say so, and I'll roll it. It's fine. Long. So what does Jinzo do? Jinzo's in the water. He's diving down. He's trying to help Rowena. What would you like to do?
I'd like to get close enough to pierce with my sword.
Okay, so we'll say move action to dive down and kind of stay with them. So you now are fighting. You're totally submerged, which is a little different. So it does the same thing where it like requires like a second success. I really don't like that rule. So I'm just going to say, I'm going to do the same thing with you, except I'm going to say -3 since you're fully underwater now. And the good news though, is that if you attack the one that Rowena, that is kind of wrapped up Rowena, you do actually get advantage on that one. So if you want to attack that one, you get it.
Awesome. I'm going to look for a nice vulnerable point and stick my sword in.
All right. So effectively you're getting -3 from them from like just being underwater, but +2 from the advantage. So it'll be a net extra modifier of -1.
Ooh,
Nice
got a 2.
roll.
Good roll. Here we go.
Okay.
Perfect.
Nice.
And you're doing damage. Damage is going to be halved underwater, but you get an extra D4 because it's advantage.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I rolled
Nice.
10 and a 4. Max damage, 14.
Wow.
Oh my
Okay.
god.
Crap.
Yes.
So halved, it'll be 7, but that still breaches their threshold. So you can do, so in this case, you have a choice. There's really only one choice in this situation to attack. So normally the choice is you either attack again or you can knock them to the ground. That's not going to apply here because they're floating in water. So you can take another free attack.
Yeah, after feeling my sword pierce a nice flesh spot, I dig deeper.
Okay, man.
And hopefully it's not ruined I'm stabbing.
Okay. Hopefully you crit fail. So
Make it all the way
Oh
through.
my
Yeah.
god.
beautiful.
Nice.
Damage is a bit lower, 5.
Damage is lower. Did you roll your extra D4 for advantage?
Yeah, it was a low roll.
Okay, so in this case, it's going to be 2.5. I'll round up for you all, so we'll say 3 points of damage. It is unfortunately not yet dead, but it is looking almost identical to how bad the other one is, as they are both just leaking blood left and right. The pool itself has turned red from the blood on the surface, the blood underneath, Rowena's as well. It is quite hideous. It is Atolia's turn. You want Atolia to fire her bow? Was that the idea?
She should totally do one of her lightning arrows into the water.
just electrocute you guys. I'm helping. All right. We'll say she'll take a movement action to move up next to Madjac. We'll say she has her bow. So she's going to fire at the one on the surface. It's the only one she can really attack currently. So I think it's all set up. So it should be just -3, I think, on the attack. I got it. I know GMs aren't supposed to roll, but she's not here. She misses. That's a 19 on the roll. She fires, and it skips across the water a lot like Madjac's did, and just doesn't quite pick up. It just takes away so much of the momentum. It just kind of bounces off the body of the creature. Rowena, your turn. I need you to make a strong test for the water for as you're getting further and further down this hot spring.
All right, I'm gonna keep trying to get some boosts here with this roll. And
there you go.
5.
Okay.
You're very good at holding your breath. Maybe it's some sort of Ordo Magica thing. Like maybe you've been taught meditation techniques or something, and you kind of keeping your cool to a degree, and you haven't quite given into the panic yet. That's next round. So your turn. You can make a strong test to try to break free.
Is panicking.
Absolutely. You can make a strong test if you want to break free. On the same penalty as before, though, because it's underwater, so -2. I think it's fair. Yeah, go from there.
Nice roll.
That's back-to-back 5s. As you manage the blood, Jinzo stabbing and slashing away. The blood has just created like an extra slipperiness, and you manage to just weasel your way out from the flaps of the wings. And you are now in the water with Jinzo right next to these creatures. We're going to say that's where your turn will end. Your whole turn was that, but you are no longer grappled, which is great. We go to the top of the round. Madjac, that one on the surface is still alive. It's still splashing around with Gwydion.
Madjac looks over at Atolia. He's irritated. He takes more careful aim. He's going to try once again to hit this bastard.
Okay.
And actually sink an arrow in.
There we go. Damage is good. 3 points of damage. That is enough. So this time, arrow flies true. Perfect angle. It's sort of leaping up out of the water and getting ready to just pounce down on Gwydion. And right as it comes up, mouth wide, arrow flies out right in the mouth, beneath the top row, above the bottom row of teeth, and this thing flops down dead into the water. Well done. All right. So that one is dead. So that is... All right. So then... okay, so then next up, it's going to be the one that Rowena just got away from. One of them's dead.
Going to be like, come back here. Come back here.
Okay. I don't see any reason why I won't attack you, to be honest, at this point. Like, there's so much blood around. I think it's going to go for you again. This time, though, I think it's just going to bite you. So go ahead and roll. Go ahead and roll your defense as you try to fend off the bites of this creature underneath the water.
Okay.
-3 for its because its accuracy.
Oh, nice.
That's
my
a
goodness.
nat 1.
Wow.
Maybe you manage to like get your staff or a piece of your equipment, and you just hold it up at the last second and chomps down right onto it, and there you are in the water, kind of fending it off. You can feel yourself like almost your body's trying to rise, but this thing is trying to bring you down. There's a surprising amount of strength to these things, considering they're just like an elongated piece of paper. Then the other one down here that was originally attacking you, it has a choice. I think it's going to... I'm going to 50-50, see which one it attacks. It's going to go for Jinzo. So Jinzo, it's going to turn its attention to you. You're all in like the 4 of you are in this big melee. I'm going to say no flanking. We're in the water. It's pretty crazy down here. So we're going to say no flanking applies on this. But it is going to attack you. So go ahead and roll your defense against its accuracy. So it's going to be -3. And you're going to roll your armor at -3. There, Jinzo.
Okay.
Got it. Okay. All right. That is...
So I can catch me unaware.
It does catch you. The good news is that your woven silk that you're wearing has kind of bunched up enough into the water that when it sinks its teeth into you, it actually just sinks its teeth into a kind of a flare of your silk shirt, and it kind of tears it and rips it away. But when you look down as you're flashing around in this dark water, now with blood, you realize it didn't actually bite you. It just tore it a bit away. So your armor actually protects you from damage in this case. So that was its action. Seeing as how it didn't kill you, there's two that are bleeding and nearly dead. It's going to attempt to get away from you now. So it's going to make an acrobatic. It's basically going to make a quick test to try to like dive down into the water, almost like it's fleeing down to the bottom. So go ahead, if you could please, Jinzo, just roll a d20 for me. As you roll.
Got an 8.
Okay. Yeah, it's going to, so it would be, yeah, you would need to roll a 4 or under to basically have it not get away. So it's going to get away. So you try to swing out after it, but it misses. And this one begins to swim far down into the dark recesses to the point where you almost don't see it anymore. You're in a cave, so everything's very dark. You don't have torches and lanterns down here. Now the blood's in the water, making it even hard to see. It just kind of disappears at a certain point. And so that one's kind of fleeing, considering that the fight is going bad on them. There's still one more, though, that's nipping at Rowena. And that was its turn. So it's going to come over to Gwydion. Gwydion, the one you were fighting on the surface, is dead. You can see that Jinzo and Rowena and one more of these, you can kind of see their vague shapes below you.
Okay.
What do you want to do?
I'll make an effort to get there. I'll see if I can swim towards it. And if I can make it out, great. If I can't, I understand.
No, I'm fine.
I'll
Move
try to
action.
get over there.
Yeah.
Move action. You get down there, no problem. You get down there, no problem.
I'll try and get at the one that's nipping at Rowena. I will be the kill stealer this time.
Okay.
Go for it, please. Please
Then
do, so I can come
I'm
up
going
and
to
take
say
a breath.
no flanking advantage just because we're
Of
in
course,
the water.
yeah.
Things are crazy. You're just going
against
nuts
this
with
defense, -3 for fully submerged. Was that what it
it.
was?
Yeah, so I was saying -3 for that. Yeah, I just don't want to do
Okay.
multiple rolls for attacks. You know how I am. with
I
that.
get you. I hate multiple rolls.
No.
Yay! I succeeded. Oh, never mind.
All right.
What?
Ouch.
If this was a different system, I would be on fire.
I know. If we were playing
It's
like Ruins of Symbaroum, the 5e version
Yeah.
of this game,
Yeah,
you
if
would
we're
be
doing the
crushing
5e.
right now.
Gwydion thinks he's in 5e. He's not 5e.
All right. But you're underwater. The three of you are now underwater. You're fighting this thing. It's going to come to Jinzo. Jinzo, I need you to roll a strong test as you are now submerged. So you
Maybe
go
I
ahead.
would try my other.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, that's right. You have an offhand. What am I doing? My bad.
No worries.
My bad.
I'm okay if Jinzo, because it's awkward. I was swimming. Let's let Jinzo get his in.
Okay.
I'm just trying to breathe down here, but it looks like my strong.
You're good. You managed to hold your breath. You were ready. You're prepared. So you're good to go.
No. Nope.
All right. Jinzo, your turn. One more of these things. You saw the other one fly away. Rowena is clear, but there's so much blood down here. It's really, really dark at this point, and hard to see. What would you like to do?
Trying to finish this thing off, slice his head off while it's gnawing at Rowena's staff.
All right. Give it a go.
Is this
Okay.
normal? There's no advantage on it. Just a
It's going to
-3.
be it's -3 because it's just really hard to see down here. It's so dark, and we're in the water, and you're trying to fight this thing underwater. So we'll go -3 and just give that a rip.
Nice.
You still got it.
Jinzo?
Jinzo,
4
describe your
damage.
kill as that will be
Yes.
enough. It had 1 health left, so even 3 cut in half is still going to be enough to kill
Amazing.
it.
Nice. I'm just getting a sense of the waves in the water, see what the movement's like, and I get a nice cut off on his head. And it just sticks around as his body separates from it.
Okay, and you see the head like kind of starts to drift up a bit, and the body starts to drift down. And you wait a beat, and you realize there's nothing else moving in the water but yourselves. And you all quickly scramble up to the surface. Big breath of air as the 3 of you manage to make it out. And you have killed 2 of these creatures. 1 fled, but you've killed 2 of these creatures, and everyone has survived to tell the tale. Well done.
Oh.
And Marina's just like
Oh.
coughing up water. I feel like just like
Hey, Rowena, you okay in there?
no.
All right. How about you, Iron? Are you okay?
I'm good, but what kind of an idiot goes diving in after those things?
I don't know,
Huh?
but I think you should dive deeper and see if there's anything down there for us to take back with us.
Okay.
They're
No, it's like this
skeletons.
new guy here. You might look like an asshole. You're okay.
Well, let's get out of this water. Why don't we?
That's pretty much as nice as Gwydion knows how to be.
Okay. So anybody who wants out of the water at this point, you can easily get out of the water. So you are still in this big room. There is this big hot spring, a couple different tunnels coming out of here. One the way you came, one a different way. It's kind of almost like it's varying back the way you came. There's a broken bit of pipe. There's some mushrooms that Atolia's been collecting here and there. And then you have spied that there are some skeletal bits here and there, especially when Atolia got close to the water and some of the lantern light was able to shine down into it. And you can kind of see down there as well. What do you guys do?
The one that died while it's still kind of on the surface, they're kind of wide and thin. Is it possible it's buoyant enough that maybe it could get hooked and pulled out? So I know Madjac likes to take scraps off of creatures.
The one you kills at the surface, yeah. If you're quick enough, we'll say you can grab it and drag it back. We'll say the other one sinks, but you drag that back. Sure, we can do that. I'm okay with that. So you drag one of the corpses of these things, and when you unfurl it, it's got a wingspan that's like 8, 9, 10 feet wide at the tips. It's huge, and it's just this. It's like you're unfurling a rug. It's got teeth it's got probably like 100 teeth in here, a couple different rows, small but very sharp. Super slick as well. It's got a little bit of a tail, but not much. And you can tell it has some kind of extra layer over top of its eyes that kind of allows it to sort of move around. Maybe it has like some kind of dark vision and protects it from the water as well as you pull it off. Madjac, if you wanted to try to like gut through this and kind of see if you can grab some kind of trophy, we can do that again if you like.
Yeah, let's give it a shot. Let's just see how it works out.
Yeah.
Cunning?
So, I'm sorry, say it again.
Was it a cunning test?
Yeah, I think it's cunning.
That?
I had it up just a minute ago. But yeah, give me a cunning test, and it's really effectively like how well you do, because you're going to get something. It's just a question of whether it's like in really good condition or whether if it's just in like average condition.
Nope.
It's a fail. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because you've never really encountered these before. Like the Virens, maybe you've heard about before. Maybe you've come across like a barbarian tavern or something like that has served it as a stew. And so it's a little bit more familiar with what to take. These, it's kind of an alien creature.
I don't even know where to start with this thing, Iron Eye. I mean, maybe if we had a day down here, I could look at it pretty closely. But I'm going to be honest with you. I'm more interested in what's at the bottom of this pool. We need to show some profit for this. So,
what do we think is at the bottom of the?
You see those skeletons down there? These things have been chewing on things. Who knows how long? There may be thalers down there just begging for us to pull them out.
Oh. And Raina's just sort of been just like laying on like the beach area, like gasping for breath. And then she says, we have, and so she's going to like go through her bag and pull out the fist size black piece of, with magnetic properties.
Mm-hmm.
So you could see, and she's going to go back over to Gwydion and again sort of demonstrate how it sticks to the
doing
arm.
that.
So we can do this, but you attach it to something and then you put it down in the water and then you see what a value will attach to it and then you pull it back up and then we don't have to go be the bait in the water.
What's funny is I hear we, but in my head I know me. Right?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's obvious. We've always known that, right, Iron Eye? I mean, and I still think, Iron Eye, you need to go in the water. What if it's something that isn't going to get sucked up by the magic rock? We don't know what this thing connects to. How about this? I'll tie a rope around you, and you jump in, and we'll pull you out if things get looking too hairy down there.
Okay. Before I do, I'm going to take a bite out of this thing out of spite.
I think that's fair.
So every time I try to do my recovery roll, I base it on an act of spite. Watch me fail again.
Or watch the mucus be poisonous. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea.
Do it.
I just feel like
Madjac, You can take some cave. You can take some of their teeth. Like you'll still get
yeah.
a trophy. It's just not like a super pristine
Cool.
trophy, is all.
Yeah. This time it actually works.
All right.
And I
So you
get
bite
wow.
into
This stuff is delicious. It's amazing.
Look at you,
Do you like
max
seafood?
healing.
I'm at full health. Like Gwydion
Nice.
takes up. Like he just rips off like part of that wingspan. Just chews on it for a minute. Oh my god, it's so good. It was amazing.
So while Gwydion is stuffing his face, Serena's like crawling over to Atolia, and because not at max health, so Serena like goes over. That hurt. That hurt a lot. And so she can do.
Come here. And so she'll try to do her lay on. Is that what you want her to do? Lay on hands?
Yeah, lay
Is
on
that what
hands
it
is a resolute test. Passing
Okay.
resolute is 1d6.
I want to see Atolia become an abomination while Kipser isn't here, and we have to
Listen.
kill her.
I can make it happen. That's what you get for going on vacations. Streaming serious business. Okay, so it's a resolute test. Let me give that a roll. All right. And she gives that a roll. That is going to be a big fat fail, as I will show it to you again. As a 17, she rolls as she reaches out, and she says, "You're just too wet. Maybe later when you dry off." Like her hand, like my hands are just slipping. She puts her hands and sliding in.
Okay.
Phrasing.
You can tell she's really not paying attention to it. She's just kind of going through the various like lichen and fungi and moss that she's collected. She's like, yeah. It didn't work.
Okay, Madjac. I've
Okay.
got an idea for a compromise. We do the rope. I'm thinking maybe you let me borrow your spear. Because what I'm thinking to do is take these crow's beaks, get them positioned in my armor just right so the spikes are pointing outwards. Let that bastard try to wrap me up. Good. Poke yourself up real nice. Right? And then you can just poke downwards with the spear.
I love this plan.
Okay.
Take the spear. I've got this into the rope. You'll be fine. Don't come back
Yes.
up without treasure, though.
Do I really need to take the demon rock?
I don't give a shit if you take the demon rock or not, but it might actually prove useful. So
And you didn't realize that Rowena had just come back from Atolia and was like, it's scientific. It's useful.
It's too many syllables.
yeah,
But if
I
you're
don't know.
If you're
She's
not going to take it
yabba,
serious,
yabba,
give
yabba.
it back to me for safekeeping. Fine.
What do I do with it? Okay, I don't.
Stick it to your armor, then go to the bottom and roll around until you can't hold your breath any longer, then hope to get to the surface before you die.
Rowena's going to grab the little shard and she's going to take out like a thaler and just show how it like connects to it. See?
Okay, all right.
See?
Okay, great. So dive as deep into the horrible dark abyss as I can, and just roll around at the bottom.
No, actually, point yourself at the skeletons first, because they're more than likely to have the treasure on them or near them. And if that fails, stay down there. Suck it up, son, and roll around on the floor until you can't take it anymore. Then come up.
You don't resurface in 10 beats. I'll assume you're dead.
But then we'll pull you back out because your gear is worth money.
I'm dangerously close to liking you, Jinzo. I respect that. Okay. I will do it.
Okay, so you're going to try to dive down into this pool filled with blood.
Yes.
And then roll around on the ground and see if the magnetic thing happens to.
He's gonna
anything.
shoot for the skeletons first in an attempt to find treasure on them.
And basically,
Okay.
I'm like positioning my crow's beaks, all my armor to where the spikes are at. Kind of like I know this thing's going to try and eat me, but hopefully it'll hurt itself when it tries to do that. I hate this so much.
So
But it is what I signed up for.
Then I'm going to ask you to roll a vigilant test as you dive down in here. Just swim down,
Well, we
find
do
the
Like a
skeleton.
bonus?
We do have the rope around his waist, so
Yeah.
we're on the shore to pull him
Yeah,
back.
you can pull him back up. That's not a problem. It's really just for him to see where he's going as he tries to get further and further down. It's
be
really
fine.
hard to see. This water is super murky,
Okay.
steam coming up, lots of blood, and plus you're going all the way to the bottom. So it's super deep.
I'll take the +1 for this, just because I would like to actually
Fair
see
enough.
if I can.
Thank you,
Fair enough.
audience.
I'm just gonna
Yes,
go ahead and
thank
use
you.
one of Griff's complications to put
You did
30
get 2
of
of
these
them.
things down.
I
Here.
rolled
my
an
God.
18. Oh God.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
Oh my
the
god.
dice are
Wow.
so kind.
It's as rough. You could roll physical dice too. You could roll and then just lie like Melissa.
No,
So
no, I'm gonna stick this out.
you swim down, and you're a heavy enough guy. You got armor on. You're able to sink pretty easily. People are hanging on to you, and you're trying to find the skeleton. And you're reaching around. You're grabbing some things, and at a certain point, you just can't really see. You're just sort of blindly looking. You see vague contours. You feel currents moving around you. You're pretty sure you're not down here alone.
No,
And every now and then you feel like just something kind of brush against your leg, and you just jump and turn and jump and turn.
oh God.
Jeremy, give me a D20. This is just purely a luck. So we'll say 1 to 10 is good, 11 to 20 is bad. Okay, so just purely a luck. Okay.
Yep, rolling high.
You feel something. You feel something like sink into your ankle and just go ahead and take a point of damage as something stabs into you. You're not sure if it's teeth. You're not sure if you just hit a bone. You're not sure exactly what it is. The rest of you feel like the sudden jerk on the rope. What do you all do as you feel that?
He's fine. Give him a few more minutes.
Pull it back. Pull it back.
All right. Damn it. I hope
Okay.
to God he found something. We start tucking him in.
So you start tucking him in, and when he comes up, you can see blood coming down from basically his Achilles. So you can see that you took a bite or you took a stab of something, so a point of damage, and it's bleeding. You can see it coming and gushing out, and he has absolutely nothing in his hands. However, when you look at that little magnetic thing, you can see that just dumb luck, a few things just clinked and sort of stabbed. First of all, there's like some rusty dagger, which probably isn't in great condition, but you could probably get a couple shillings for it. But you also notice that there's 6 thaler that are just clink, clink, clink right on top of it, 3 ortegs, and then you see there's probably about a dozen shilling. And like as he comes up, you can't even see the magnet anymore. It's just this coat of metal coins. So it was
Rowena totally
6
ignores
thaler,
the
3
fact
ortegs. Yeah, go ahead.
that you're bleeding. Totally ignores the fact that you're bleeding, and she's just like, "See, what did I tell you? I told you it would work. I told
You're
you
right.
it would work."
You were right, Rowena. You were absolutely right. Iron Eye, I think you should go down and do that again because, I mean, we are making money here.
Are you?
I think you're right. It got so completely covered that it couldn't fit anymore. And like if it was cleaned off, it might fit more on it. It was
Exactly. We can just make
Yeah.
multiple dives.
oh gosh, you're bleeding. Oh, that looks new.
Right.
Oh, what happened?
I want to say this to you, and as respectful a manner as possible. Fuck your science. I'm done.
But it
We have
but
a
it
mission,
worked.
and I'm worried that we could keep doing this all day. I'm gonna, I'll flail around. I'll accidentally pull somebody into the water. I'm gonna mess up the whole mission. I don't want to do that, but mostly fuck your science.
Well, that's so rude.
I know it is.
Even. You know what? I'm taking all of the thaler then. And so she just takes them.
Good, because I'm not
Back.
touching that stupid rock. Take your Gerst gold. It's
That's fair.
yours.
That's fair. Give me my spear back, Iron Eye.
Yes. Whatever it was, it didn't even try coming for me. It just swam around in circles. I could feel it. And it just circled around. I couldn't see the bastard, and then eventually it just got me on the heel and just
Anyone else want to go down there? And like Marina sort of looks at Jinzo because he was pretty good with his swords under the water.
I've heard of stories of Hunter doing things for treasure, but this is crazy. What are you doing?
just
That's a
playing
good
the
point.
fool.
Let's
That's
face
what-
it. Once Iron Eye taps out, it's time to move on because
Right.
if I can't get him to do it, there's no way anybody else is going to do it.
I feel like I gave it the good try. I did it the once. I couldn't find anything down there. Like maybe if I could actually see what I was doing, I would be more inclined. But if I'm just flailing around in the dark where there's something down there that knows what it's doing and just gonna nibble at me, I mean, there's a fine line of what I do and then stupidity is like right there. And I know I walk real close, but at a certain point.
You pretty much crossed over it. I mean, you did what I asked you to do, but that was
Yeah.
Hey.
So I already crossed the line. You're right. I don't want to go further.
That's fair. That's fair.
Atolia, are you done with the mushrooms? It sounds like we're moving on.
Yeah, she turns over to you, is like, "Stop talking to me," and goes back to messing with mushrooms.
All right, let's move on.
All right, so looking around, there's the way back. There's also another tunnel. So like when you come in, you can see like the cave, much like some of the others, like there's big pockets and there's all these little tunnels in between, some of which seem, like, from what you've seen, like there were ruins here at some point. It's been overtaken. They've kind of given over in time to the earth kind of taking over. But you can definitely tell there were structures down here at some point here and there. But you can see from this hot spring room, you can kind of veer back the way you came. On the other side of the spring, you can see it kind of also, there's a tunnel. Both of them seem to go back in the same direction, like we'll say, just for the sake of ease, like westward. But you don't see anything kind of going further and deeper. There's some craters and such over there that go down a couple levels, but all Atolia was really able to find was just additional growth of stuff. There was no other points of egress, a little hole or two, but a critter might come and go, but nothing big enough for you guys to travel. So really, it just looks like you have those two passages kind of heading back. So either back the way you came, or this other tunnel that seems to be weaving off in the same direction.
I say we take this other tunnel, see where it leads.
Sounds like a good idea, but remind me what you guys are looking for down here.
Personally,
So we're actually
I'm
trying
looking
to
for money.
Well, yes. You'll find that he's always looking for money, no matter what we do. But we are on an official job, and Rowena, kind of stands up straight a little bit. We are on an official job from Order Magica and Thistlehold to try to discover more about the creatures than the beings that came up out of the sinkhole. And we haven't found that yet, so we have to keep searching.
Right.
Okay.
Or dive back in the water.
You're and Rowena looks to Gwydion. You're in front, right?
Of course. Yeah. I'm not going to let you guys steal all the joy.
Good man.
Get out in front. We'll say Atolia somewhere in the middle, so her lantern light can help everybody. Gwydion, you're leading the way. Go ahead and roll a vigilant test. I love getting Jeremy out in front leading packs, and he doesn't want to do this.
Let the one-eyed man lead the way. It's just
Madjac really should be up front.
Yeah, this is more fun this way.
Wow.
Well done, one.
Good times.
You so basically, Gwydion, you find your way to this crevice in the wall on the opposite side of the hot spring. It certainly doesn't look like an archway in any shape of the word. It looks just more like the wall split open, and it's kind of created almost like a triangle entranceway, and the crevice continues up. But you push down it. One of the things that you notice is different about this tunnel than others is that this very much seems more undulating. The ground isn't as smooth. You can see the walls are jutting out here and there. More than once, each of you just kind of scrape your arms here and there, as there's some sort of tight places where you have to weave between. Nothing so much that would actually really damage you significantly, but it'll leave a mark here or a mark there. It'll scrape on your equipment. A few times it opens up, but never quite as big as some of these buildings or some of these rooms before. Gwydion, more than once you notice something as you're moving forward, peeking out of like these small pockets that are high up on some of the walls or maybe low on the walls. You just see like this tiny bit of white that is barely revealed by the lantern light before it disappears. It just sort of just sucks back into the wall. Once or twice, Gwydion, you see shadows moving in front of you, just like something crossing the road from one side of like an open tunnel to the other. But again, the minute the lantern light from Atolia, as she holds it up higher, gets close, they're gone. You get the sense that there are creatures around here that are avoiding the light, possibly tracking you at some points. A few times, Gwydion, you also notice that it splits, goes to the right, goes to the left. Sometimes it's a three-way split. More than once, you all have to turn around as Gwydion will take you down like this dead-end path, and you kind of weave back, and then you go halfway back the same way you came before you realize you were going back the same way. Then you have to turn back around again. And effectively, it kind of becomes this sort of long, grueling grind that you didn't quite expect.
Gwydion, should Madjac be up front? Maybe. I feel like we just saw that stone like 3 times.
Maybe. Did you also see the whatever freaking things are moving in and out of the holes in the ground and tracking us? And I'm sorry if I'm looking for things that are going to try and bite your face off, and I'm looking at that stupid stone on the stupid ground down here.
As long as nothing else tries to hug me today. I'm done quite with hugs today. No,
I promise
no
I
more.
won't hug you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Welcome. God, I hate it down here so much.
At a certain point, I'm going to say anybody who's like not bringing up the rear. If you're bringing up the rear, this isn't for you. But anybody who is like towards the front, it doesn't just have to be Gwydion. Give me a vigilant test as you kind of push further.
Just
Yeah,
flat?
me. I'm right behind him.
Okay, Jinzo, that's fine. Just straight vigilance is fine.
Jesus. Nope. I am rolling crap tonight too.
Not too
How
good on
about
my
that?
part.
Hey.
I just had to get angry. I had to be good and properly angry to succeed at vigilant.
You're welcome.
Rowena is chiding you, trying to replace you in your job, trying to get Madjac up there. You see Madjac and Jinzo, maybe they even continue to move like in front of you as you and Rowena stop for a second to bicker. And Gwydion, as you turn your head to go back to your position, you see Jinzo and Madjac almost step immediately into this sort of strange flaking, whirling pattern of blackness. You see these little flakes just sort of, kind of dancing around in the air, and you grab them both and just stop them. And standing in front of you, you can see there's like a small and thin whirlwind of black flakes that's just sort of dancing around in front of you, fairly chaotically. Whirlwind's probably overstating it. It doesn't have that kind of pattern. You just see this movement. It doesn't look like there's any real source of it. There's not like a vent kicking up from anywhere or down. There's doesn't appear to be any opening anywhere nearby. It's dark as can be. If not for the lantern, you'd be in pitch black. And that allows you at just the last second to see these little flecks of it. You guys want
Damn, thanks, One Eye.
What the
Or
hell
Iron
is-
Eye, I should say.
That's fine. What the hell is that? Shove your demon stone in it.
How about we take a step back and we let the mage handle this?
Yeah.
Okay, Rowena, if you would like to, you can make like a cunning test, which I think would be fine. Since you've got like lore master, you've got training in order magicka, give me a cunning test.
Okay. That is a 615.
Yeah, you're pretty confident that this is some strange manifestation of like corruption. You and Natolia and even Jinzo, you've probably felt this in your time down here. Like this place, you almost feel is like oozing corruption. It's like dripping from the walls at times. Not every step, not every place. The water in some of these streams looks fine and drinkable, but there was a feeling when you all first dropped down. Atolia maybe mentioned it. Again, Jinzo, you probably felt it as well. And you see these things dancing around, and they don't seem to subscribe, Rowena, to your understanding of science. Like they should be falling to the ground, but instead they're just sort of floating around. It's not a very thick, storm of it, but it's a good couple of feet, and all of you would basically have to plunge through it. You're not sure what the effects would be, but you're pretty sure that it looks almost like a manifestation of corruption oozing from out of the place of this, and that could not be great.
Well, speaking of our job, I think we may have found something along the lines of what we're looking for. Corruption?
What exactly you're doing with this?
I mean,
I don't understand it.
is it like a physical manifestation? Would it burn? Can we burn it off and proceed?
You could put your hand in and see what happens, and then we will all know.
I think that's probably something that I'm not going to do. So we could maybe table that and figure it out if there's another way to get past it.
Let's take that rusty knife, shove the rusty knife in it.
There's an idea. See
None
what
of us care
happens.
about that, right?
Oh,
Okay. Who's doing it?
Shit, I said it. I'll do it.
So you take the knife and you're just going to it's like you're stabbing the air. Is that what you're doing?
No, I'm just going to put the tip of just the tip. I'm not going to put my hand in there.
Okay. All right. You see one of the flecks of black just rest ever so slightly on the tip of the rusted blade. As it does, it almost seems like for a second the rust grows a little bit more discolored. It's no longer that kind of brownish color, kind of grows black ever so slightly, and you see this little nebulous growth, these little tendrils start to emit from the rust, just that little layer of rust, and it stops. It's not like it's suddenly takes over the blade as one little tiny fleck.
But so
Madjac
clearly,
will. Sorry. Go ahead.
nobody should put their hand in there.
Madjac will light up a torch and just wave it in that, the very beginning of it. See if whatever these corrupted flakes are burn away, or if they're attracted to the light, or how they react to fire.
Okay, give me a quick test, Madjac, as you take a torch out and you start waving it around to see if you can. Yeah.
Once again, guys, this is going to be bad. I will take a audience dice because my quick is only a 5.
All right. Natty 1. Look at that.
Natty 1.
You start waving it around, and you see you do initially as you wave it around. It almost looks like the flakes begin to change course and follow the warmth, the light, and then it all kind of seems to descend down on the torch really fast, and you just see in mere seconds, 2 seconds, all of a sudden, whoosh, the flame is completely doused and everything's black. Maybe with the quickness, you're able to drop the torch and back away in time to not get consumed by it as well. But the torch is now, and all you have left for light again is Atolia's lantern. You hold it up, and you can still see the flakes begin to waft up once more.
So that could be how we get through this, is we throw a torch over there so that all of it will go that way, and then we can go through. Yes?
It's definitely worth a shot.
Yeah. Are there is there any sort of noticeable smell or anything like that here that might help us have a clue for it later on? I don't know.
You passed your vigilance, right?
Yeah.
I would say it's less a sense and more a feeling, right? You just kind of felt the same kind of wrongness as you first descended into the cavern, but it felt more pronounced. And when you looked up and saw the flakes, saw Madjac and Jinzo, it just kind of clicked for you. So it's really about just being attuned with that sixth sense as opposed to one of your physical senses.
Right. That's me.
Anybody,
Mr. Sixth Sense,
for instance, with witch sight would be particularly attuned to it, and would be, if they use that ability, would probably be able to see it a little bit more readily.
Oh, that's something I have.
Yes, I know.
So I'll stare and concentrate a bit deeper.
Okay.
Maybe if you're looking at me, you think my eyes are glowing a bit, but you can't really tell. So I'll use witch sight.
Okay, and I think you just have it at novice level, right? So you need to roll a vigilant. So just give me a vigilant test, and you're going to take 1 temporary corruption for doing so.
Okay.
Okay. So
Vigilant.
and then give me your vigilant, and you can just roll it flat. Don't worry about the discreet because you're not trying to.
Ooh,
Okay.
15 failed by 5.
You look out, and you can certainly see that those flakes become more pronounced, not unlike when you try to see the shadow of a person. But you don't necessarily see any source of it. And more than that, you start to see, as you look down a couple of these other, tunnels that are flanking out in different ways, you're starting to see it manifesting in a couple different spots too, as if it's beginning to grow in places. Yeah, without passing, I would say you don't really see anything that would lend you to think that there is like a source, like a dead body or a creature in the area that's sort of generating it. Like, I don't think you would see that.
Rowena just sort of elbows Madjac.
Yep.
Just like the glowing eyes of our new companion.
I spent so much time in Darkavar. Hey, he may be a little corrupted, but so far he hasn't gone completely mad on us. So let's just look the other way till we get out, and then if we need to turn him over to the witch hunters when we get up topside, we'll do it.
And so instead of ignoring that, Rowena goes over to Jinzo and is like, "Did you see anything?"
She distracts me. I wince out, grinning. Yeah, it's just all darkness down there.
Oh. Okay.
Well, Rowena, do you have any spellcraft or anything that can draw off the corruption?
Most of the things that I do are I know things that I've read, and I can do like symbols and break links with things. So
the long answer, no.
What about science? Shove the demon stone in it.
No.
Oh, it's fun to do science when you send your friend down into the abyss to be hunted by horrible winged sea bats.
Well,
yeah, that was fun. That really was.
I'm just saying that if it has those metallic qualities, we could put it inside, and then it could rust, and then it could be ruined, and we wouldn't want to ruin it now, would we?
I would be totally fine with ruining it.
So are we going with the throw, fire, distract, run through?
I think it's a great idea. Let's see if it works.
Okay. So you guys light up another torch. You throw it a little bit to the side down one of these side tunnels, and then you all make a break for it, right? Is that fair? Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Once you start to see it, it's going to track. But I still am going to want quick tests from everybody to see if you get away fast enough. So everyone roll a quick test. No penalty or anything, just straight up. Rowena.
Ooh, that one.
A bat out of hell with her 1.
I failed.
Success by 5.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Another 18.
Wow,
Madjac
so many 18s.
just missed. Gwydion with a fail as well. The two of you roll a d4. Both of you roll a d4 as you burst through and you start running down the tunnel.
4, of course.
Okay. Gwydion,
Of course.
2.
both of you take that amount of temporary corruption. As you're running through, you feel a slight burning on maybe any sort of exposed skin, and then it quickly turns cold, and then it feels almost bruised as you feel your skin beginning to shift. You can even see some of your belongings have something kind of darkened, and you realize some of the flakes you've managed to get some as you've run past. And we'll say this corruption lasts momentarily. It's not going to last forever. It's just temporary corruption, but it's going to last for a little while longer. But you do feel some on you. And when you finally get what appears to be a dead end, you can kind of feel like a cough, like this phlegmy feeling coming up in your throats. And I'll say Jinzo and Rowena, since the two of you made it through first, so we'll say you just kind of outran it I'll say Atoya did it too. I don't want to kill her when she's not here. Both of you can roll a vigilant test as you get to the end of this dead end here, with seeming dead end. And thank you to Twisted Fates for the raid while they're rowing. Really do appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Succeed by 6.
Okay. Fantastic.
Nice.
Okay. Both of you notice something that not only is it a dead end, it absolutely is, but as Atolia runs up behind you, the lantern light floods the wall in front of you. You realize that there is a segment of this rock wall that just looks, as you're staring at it, like this stained masonry with little holes and bits and stuff in here, and it looks to be in pretty perilous condition. Everything else just seems like the earth and the rock has begun over the years to stack and pile up, but you see a sliver of maybe maybe it's about 7 feet tall and maybe about 4 feet wide, and it's not a perfect square, of course, but you can see this like crumbling masonry that's kind of blocking your path forward.
Madjac's coming. Rowena, I didn't like your last idea. That was complete horse shit.
You just need to be faster. You just need it to be faster.
We'll table this discussion for later. Iron Eye, I think we're going to have to go through this masonry wall because I'm not going back that way. Can your crow's beaks get us through there?
Yes. Sure, I will literally just physically assault this wall out of my way.
Fantastic.
Actually, that sounds great.
Is there
Glad to be your part of the team.
Wait. Is there any are there any markings or anything on it?
Not that you saw. You did pass your vigilance test. You didn't really see anything of that kind.
Okay. Well, yes. So Gwydion, Jinzo, one of you.
Hammers, I guess.
Go ahead.
Sure. You do have hammers. So give me, I'll say roll your attack. So roll your attack like you normally would. Take advantage on it because it's still, and you have, and you do have hammers themselves. So you can take your +2 for swinging, and then you can take your plus 1d4 for your attack. Or excuse me, for your damage. Okay.
10?
So Gwydion, you just start wailing away at it one after the other, taking out some frustration, and you see the wall just begins to crumble. You knock up a stone or like a brick. Like it's more mason, I should say. It's not just like stones stacked up. And you just feel it almost punch out. And then once you take one loose stone out, the rest of the wall just begins to crumble. And then you see that you have opened up a pathway for you all through it. Immediately, you're hit with kind of a foul smell, in fact. Something that you haven't really smelled in any other place. It's just, it almost smells like death in some way, rot, in a manner that you haven't really smelled before. Most places you've passed by, it's like mossy, it's fungal, it smells like that, but it doesn't smell terrible. For the first time, you feel yourself just, whew. It's like walking into like a garbage refuse area, just right into your face. When Atolia or one of you holds up a light source and you look inside and you peek in, Gwydion, you peek in, Rowena, if you're up front, it's fairly cavernous again. It's another one of these opened up place. You can see there's all this porous rock here and there and masonry, not unlike what you just knocked over. And you can see that there's just piles and piles of stuff. Like you look around and you can see there's like there's some broken up crates, but mostly everything's kind of stacked loosely. It certainly looks like there's some furs and some other like chunks and bits of like game. You can see, you think this might be some kind of storeroom, just looking at it from a distance. Because it looks like there's a mix of things in here. It just looks like they throw some stuff in here that might be what they wear, what they plunder, what they loot, whatever. And it is all kind of in here. And it's a fairly big room as well.
Great. Another cabin to explore. Except this one smells like Gwydion.
Oh. Okay. All right.
Ooh.
I like you, Jinzo. You make me smile. All right. Let's see what we can find in here. Anything that's worthwhile. And hey, if anybody else sees any more flakes of corruption floating around, let's try not to walk through that because I feel like hell.
Well, see, this is the scent of success. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say this is the scent of success, and the way you earn this scent, Jinzo, is you take your turn with the stupid goddamn demon stone and you roll around on the ground. For science.
For Thaler as well. And Marina's looking around to see if this is a storeroom. Does it look like a storeroom that someone put things in yesterday or that someone hasn't been to in a handful of months? Like,
sure. Anybody, if you're searching around, just give me a vigilant test. Roll it flat, but then also let me know if you succeed what your difference is. because that might affect some things.
Jeremy's 18s have spread, so I rolled an 18.
Wow.
I succeeded by 3. Not a
Okay.
great roll.
Okay.
Failed by 4.
All right. So most of you, when you're looking around, you're finding a bunch of swords and axes and other like weapons, like half broken shields. Everything is in very poor condition. Like it'll still sell if you wanted to take it with you. It would be bulky to carry back, but you could still sell it, but it probably would get like a half or a quarter of its value. But certainly there's crafters who would take this and they would probably break it down, and maybe 1 or 2 of these things could be restored. But for the most part, all of it seems to be in pretty terrible condition. However, when you're looking around, you do notice that there is Madjac. You find like a couple pouches, like just buried underneath this stack of stuff. And you start going through them and you find 5 thaler. This is amongst all the different ones you find, like little clinks here and there, 20 shillings, and another 3 ortegs. And again, it just looks like people's coin purses and things like that, leather pouches, stuff like that. From what you're finding, you guys would guess this is likely just like plundered spoils. So you've heard a little bit about the Beast Clan once this name was thrown out there, and you know that they've raided various settlements and stuff here and there, and they just kind of pop up out of nowhere, right? And you would think this is some of their loot, some of their spoils. None of it's in particularly great condition, but you are able to at least recover a handful of interesting things. And you do see
Madjac gives a thaler to everybody and gives everybody 4 shillings, and he's like, "This is what I found so far. Spoils for the team. We got to be fair."
Yes, that's okay. So I suppose we need to continue on then and try to find who is putting things into the storeroom.
Absolutely.
So you notice there is one way out. It seems to actually once more be like an archway, like a passageway. It's not like the crevice of rock that you guys all just traveled through. And when you get out, when you're holding the lantern up, you realize that you're at like a 4-way intersection. And for the first time, it really does kind of give you the sense like this is a structured place. This isn't just random. Straight ahead, as you come out, you look down and you see this hallway and these various little nooks and crannies that almost look like little alcoves here and there. Off to the right, the tunnel kind of continues off into darkness. You can't really think as you hold up the light, and it bounces off some of the kind of the mossy, sleek rock here and there. You think you might see like some sort of structure at the very end, and then when you look down to the left, it's the same thing. It kind of the tunnel just seems to go off for a significant period until you can't really see it anymore. Like there's like a bend after a while, and the light doesn't really show anymore.
Which of the 3 paths look like is the most worn? Like if we hold the lantern down, I think the stonework look more weathered. For this, where you're at currently, you can tell that the ground is in this area much more worn than where you found Jinzo and the hot spring area you can see that there was smooth floor, but there was also moss that had been growing unfettered, right? And while there are a couple signs here and there of some disturbance, for the first time, when you look down the ground, you can see what looks like this is a highly trafficked area, like coming and going. And in truth, coming and going in multiple directions. You can see like coming into this little storeroom you found, going across the hall into those series of like alcoves, heading off to the right into the darkness, and even heading down. Like this is a highly trafficked intersection. And it kind of goes off in all four directions seem to have some merit to them. Well, what do you think?
What do we know of the Beast Clan? Are they aggressive?
Oh, highly aggressive.
Yeah.
Highly aggressive. Yeah. They literally tried to slaughter all of Thistlehold, from what we can tell. They did a fair job. I mean, they're fundamentally corrupted, evil creatures who want to rip you to pieces and eat your intestines while you watch until your life bleeds out.
Perfect. Let's take care of him.
I love this. Very enthusiastic.
Oh.
Let's go straight then.
Yeah,
Okay.
they'd probably go direct. That makes sense.
All right. So you cross this intersection and you go directly across from it from where you just came out of this storeroom. And as you start moving down this hallway, you see these little alcoves. They're definitely chambers, but as you start to look at them, you can tell they've kind of been carved into the rock itself, like a lot of porous rock. While there's occasionally signs of like old ruins, here it certainly looks as though someone over time has like kind of carved and picked the way into them. And as you're looking and shining lights into each one of these alcoves, you can definitely tell that there's some sparse furnishings. You can see like there's sections where it looks like someone might have slept here. You can see certain pedestals, and you can see various like countertops or things like that. Some broken, some still intact. But as you move, there's like about 7 chambers. One of them might be kind of one, you're not sure, but you're finding things like, you're looking around, there's all sorts of evidence that someone was living here. And you're pretty certain that no one is now, as there's signs of like a hasty departure, like stuff has been cleared away, but a lot of things have been left behind. Again, if you would like, if you start to dig through this, each one of you can make a vigilant test.
Yeah, I'll try that. Wait, on the way back, why, if we're good with our rope, couldn't we just tie the demon stone to a rope and then drag the rope along the bottom of that pool instead of somebody swimming in it?
It's not nearly
That's what
as
I
much
thought
fun.
we were going to do. And then you went and you jumped in.
Well, I just have to be angry. If I'm upset with you, my vigilant rolls are successful.
Look at
I
you with a
rolled a
nat 1.
Nice. Nice.
I didn't want to go in there. Who would want to do that?
Marina's the only one that failed because she was just focused on needling Gwydion and not looking.
Okay. So you all start spreading out. You first make sure that there's nothing, like there's no creatures in here, and then you start, each one of you picks one of these alcoves. You start going through and sifting through things here and there. Madjac, you find plenty of like hides and furs and scales. Looks like they've been like collections of stuff for craft. Like it's like they're not yet used, but they left some of this basic craft work behind. So you can probably collect some of that. That would be of use to somebody for sure. Jinzo, you find what looks like some signs of like these carved bone ornaments, some of them hanging from these different spots on the wall here and there, and a few little trinkets like that you collect for yourself. They're all very crude effigies, right? You're confident these are made from bone, and you're not entirely sure that it's animal bone as you hold it up and look at them. But nonetheless, there's like a kind of a crudeness, but also like this interest to them, and like this dark kind of intrigue. I'll say that Rowena, you find tatters of what looks like clothes and things. Once very colorful, you would think, but over time have long faded, covered in grime. You can find some of these thick, very kind of multicolored wool coats, but none of them are in good condition. These wouldn't even fetch a price. They're all pretty useless. But at one point, you would imagine these were very colorful, very well made, but it doesn't look like there's anything particularly salvageable. Gwydion, you find some broken pots and containers. All of them have like different oozes and powders and stuff in it. You're not entirely sure if any of these are in particularly good condition. But what catches your attention, Gwydion, is some of the ornamentation that are on the pots, the imagery. As you see, more than once, this sort of faded, very beautiful, in fact, like painting of what looks like a black bull plunging into the earth. Normally, I would ask you for a cunning roll for this, but because you rolled a nat 1 and because you're a barbarian, I'm just going to give it to you. You immediately notice that, and you piece together that the sign, like what you're looking at here, and you see it on multiple things. Mm-hmm. This is the sign of a barbarian clan. all barbarian clans have their own kind of symbol and imagery
Right.
and whatnot. But this one is one that you've not seen in quite some time, many years, in fact. Like it's been several since probably around year 10, you would think, because this looks like Clan Jazora's sigil. Now, Clan Jazora, you would know. Gwydion, I would say Rowena, you would probably know, and to some degree, Jinzo and Madjac, you probably have a basic understanding as well. But Rowena, with Lore Master Gwydion being a barbarian, you would have a little bit more understanding that Clan Jazora was wiped out by the Ambrians in a war when the Ambrians first started claiming land and territory north of the Titans. And Clan Jazora just would not relinquish their land. They said no. And so they fought them tooth and nail over and over. And the war went on. And over that course of that war, they started pushing more and more of themselves into the war and less into their own production. They didn't really develop food as much. They got sickly, they got hungry. Fewer people were supporting them and more people were in the war effort. And that just allowed Ambrians to just sort of finish them off. And they absolutely did. The Church of Prios, Rowena would know, built temple wall on the ruins of the capital of Clan Jazor, a city by the name of Jezrich. And Gwydion, you would know that Chieftain Halaban, who was the leader of Clan Jazora, was executed in year 10 in Triumph Square in Indaros. And that the Ambrians razed Halaban's fortress and they essentially wiped Clan Jazora off the map.
Okay.
And you're seeing this pottery, these designs. They're old, but it has that symbology that you would be familiar with.
All right. Well, I can't speak to the history fully, or the mysticism or the science of it. My gut tells me if what we're being told is down here is some sort of spirit gone bad or something like that, the whole vibe of this place is a clan too mean to quit, and their entire livelihood turned to crap. This is clearly the heart of what's causing the darkness. I don't know if that's going to be good enough for the Ordo, but I guarantee you that's what this is about.
So you're saying that the remnants of Clan Jazora is the Beast Clan?
Maybe. It would.
Maybe they were not wiped out as we had heard.
Maybe they were corrupted and defiled and their remnants
Yeah.
moved underground.
You make a person angry enough, make them feel like they got nothing left to lose, they might turn to something they don't really understand. Or maybe they tapped into something and then their own bitterness corrupted what they were tapping into. It might have gone the other way.
And so it would make sense then that they would turn that vengeance on Thistlehold, perhaps.
Makes sense to me. I mean,
Any Ambrians, probably, but yeah, definitely. Well, listen, let's push forward because although we've got a good theory, we don't have any proof. And more importantly, we don't have a lot of cash yet. So let's keep digging.
Yeah, yes. Let's make sure that we carefully. So Rowena will take some of those clothes that were clearly very old and whatnot, and make sure to carefully wrap this pottery with the markings and everything. And just she always has a way of kind of she has these extra straps, and so some of her books are just there's a strap inside the book, and she throws it over her shoulder. So she sort of always has this way of turning clothes or different things into another bag that she's got around her. So she's just always surrounded in bags. So now she has a makeshift bag that's got this piece of pottery in it, if that's sizable or of an appropriate size that she can carry, I should say.
Yeah, that's fine. So you turn around from these apartments, you kind of ransack them. Again, all of the good stuff has probably been taken. It gives you the vibe, certainly, that people have fled from here, but there's some stuff left behind. And so you collect anything that you thought of value, some of the pottery, some of the clothing, that's fine. And you turn back to that four-way intersection. And there's a left, there's a right. And left, long tunnel, maybe something at the end. To the right, it curves and you can't see it. It's really just sort of a crapshoot. nothing's really giving you a vibe one way or the other. Again, highly trafficked intersection. So it definitely looks like they've gone both ways before. And you can certainly see like scrapes against the wall, scrapes against the surface. There's really no moss build up here. It's all cleared away. So you can definitely tell that this was like a common living area. So it's just a question of which way you'd like to go.
Well, let's send Atolia down to the left, and the rest of us will go to the right. Just joking.
So the way that I think it's currently left is,
Okay.
I think, the way that we would want to go, and then right, maybe the last way out.
All right. So you hang left and you take this path, and it is pretty uneventful for at least 100 feet or so, 150 feet, until finally you get close to that small little kind of like something jutting out. And you realize as you get there that it's almost like a murder hole in some way. Like you can see the rock has been carved in such a way that the exterior of it is kind of rounded, but because of the direction you're coming, you see this tiny little way to slip in behind it, and you realize it's some kind of like guard post. And you can see that there's these little holes here and there where, you know, someone could take a spear and jab it out this one of those little holes. Kind of gives you that vibe of a guard post as you come up to it. It's not manned because you don't see anyone there. Looking around, I'll say anybody who, again, same deal. Give me a vigilant test if you like, as you sort of peek around a bit. But you're once more seeing again. There's scrapes in the ground, clear signs that someone has been through here, and not too long ago. Not like 10 minutes ago, but maybe a last few hours, maybe a day ago, something like that.
Rowena's still fiddling with all of the stuff, so she failed.
Okay.
I guess I don't have to be angry. Murder rooms also perk my interest enough.
See, a murder room implies somebody else was angry. So as long as anger is involved tangentially, you're probably okay. All right. Wow. I think everyone but Rowena, right? Everyone but Rowena. Okay.
Yep.
And we'll say, Jinzo, you got the natural one. So then, Jinzo, as you see people are splitting out and starting to move, you watch as Rowena starts to move over in the direction of what looks like on one side of the wall, a very crude mosaic has been constructed, like almost opposite of the hall from where that little murder hole is. And right as she's like getting close to start to study it or maybe take a relief of it, you notice that in some of like the images, which once more features this like these black bowls like moving and breaking down into the earth, crudely drawn, like cave paintings, right? It doesn't have that kind of artistry that the pottery had. It's almost in some ways looks like the quality has gone down, but it nonetheless is there. You see like in the eye, where the eye would be for a bowl, or where like a little fleck of the ground kind of flies off as it was broken, there's a small hole in the wall, and you're able to like just grab her arm just at the last second. As her foot goes down, there's a little bit of give, and you just see as this small little needle comes flying out from the wall, just missing the bridge of her nose as you pull her away, Jinzo. Some kind of trap has been built up into this.
Careful there.
Oh goodness! What did you see?
Classic trap.
Oh, okay. And so then she's just gonna like stand and just like wait for someone to tell her where to move. So she just like,
Touch the trap with the demon stone.
You all, I'll say, and then Madjac and Gwydion, you can hear the sounds of like air whistling a little bit, and it's coming from that same wall that just sort of shot this needle out in the direction of Rowena. And you can see that there's a handful of these little holes, and only one of them fired at Rowena. And you can see on the ground in front of it, there's the ground itself. There's like little lines and stuff that have been carved into the rock a bit, almost like it looks like tiles in some way. And you can see that whatever she just sort of stepped on, it's not nice tiles, it could have crudely made. Whatever she did seemed to have triggered something. You're pretty sure this is some kind of sentry point, obviously, for what looks like the tunnel that extends even further off in the direction beyond it. And I'll say, like, maybe Atolia picks up the needle, takes a look at it, gives it a sniff, and she's just like, poison, or something like those.
And real quick, welcome raiders from Blue Cottage D&D. Thank you for the raid.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Okay. What do you guys want to do? And you can see that, again, the path continues further, and you actually start to hear the sound of water again. Like a small little silent, barely above silent, like movement of water, like a stream maybe. And you've seen a few of these crisscrossing some of the rooms before, so it does sound like there's more water ahead.
Something wants us out.
We need to be more careful as we move forward. Madjac will reverse his spear, and he will press down on all of the tiles right in front of us to try to trigger any more darts so they will go past us. Just in case we have to run back this way in absolute terror, better to have all the traps triggered in advance.
Yeah, absolutely. So you go and you reach out and you kind of put pressure on, and a few of them do fire. And you see a total of 3 of them fire. And like there's these crudely made needles made from bone, clearly. And it looks like there's some kind of almost not leathery, but there's some kind of membrane sac. You would imagine it's probably like something from an animal, maybe one of the Virons, maybe one of their organs. They just sort of ripped it to kind of keep that pod of poison in, and it kind of would eject in and just press. And I'll say Atolia can collect them. That's fine. But you're pretty confident, Madjac, once you do that you've kind of triggered all of them.
Marina's gonna go over to Gwydion because he was like bleeding out of his leg, and she's gonna like grab a little bit of the blood that was like dripping down his leg, and she's gonna mark the ones just for kind of so we can remember if we have to run back through, just in case they're like double tracked or anything.
Yeah, I mean, if you test it again, you do notice it doesn't like they're not reloading. Like it's not like it's a reloading trap.
But I'm glad I can leave a little piece of myself here for future generations to share the misery of my haunting specter.
You're very giving, old Iron Eye.
We want to be careful. We want to be very careful.
Speaking of being very careful, how about I step up front as we continue, just in case?
Did you get hit with one of those darts? There was hallucinogens in here.
No,
right?
it's just you can't see your own feet, and if you trigger a trap, it gets me caught in it, I'm going to be pretty pissed off. So I'll go ahead and take the lead.
Seeing you pissed would be worth something. Okay.
It's a spectacular sight, don't get me wrong, but
I would miss it because I can't see past my own feet.
Exactly.
I gotcha.
So Gwydion, you step where he steps, and I'll just follow the blood from your leg, and I'll step there, and then we won't hit any more traps.
And then Jinzo will just follow my smell. Got it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Madjac, you push forward, and you do eventually come across the source of that sound of water, as it looks like 2 streams kind of converge on a pool. It's not a hot spring. It doesn't look like there's steam coming up out of it, and it doesn't look particularly deep either. As you come up a little close to it, shine the light, torch light, lantern light from Atolia. And looking around, you can certainly see that the pool itself is maybe 3 to 4 feet deep. You do see that one of the streams seems to be feeding westward, and there's some walkable path alongside of it, and it seems to disappear off to your left. The other main stream seems to move, we'll call it again, northward, the direction you've been heading. But you do notice that there appears to have been a cave-in on the north side of the cave, as if there's no other way out. So there's just the way back you came, and that kind of like leftward path following one of these streams. Madjac, since you're out in front, give me a vigilant. And
Success.
okay, so in addition to the pool, as you're looking around and you see the cave in and such, you see like there's this water that's occasionally lapping. Like there's this stream. You see the current is coming from that path to the left. You can see the water seems to be feeding out. And you also notice that there are a few like these twisting rock formation rising up from the pool itself. And they're at the base of them, there's phosphorescent lichen or some other growth that's just right above the surface. And you can see that there's these tiny little pale fish, like about the size of maybe a thumbnail, that are coming up and feeding every now and then. Like they're kind of lingering around that rock formation, and anytime the water laps up and brings a piece of the lichen down, they kind of go nuts and start feeding on it. And the other thing you notice is that the base of the pool is more sandy. It doesn't have the hard rock as other things before. You can see it's a little bit more loose, and you can see that they almost look like shark teeth. For a minute, you think maybe they're cave rays, right? But as you're looking at them, you realize many of them have something engraved on them, these like little cuneiform characters. And there's about a dozen of them, and they're all interspersed in the sandy bottom of this pool.
So Madjac will take his spear, and he's stepping back, and he's just going to kind of prod the sandy bottom in and around those teeth to see if there's anything under there that might be just waiting to ambush.
Okay, when you do that, nothing ambushes, but you definitely see those schools of those pale fish just flock and start like kind of poking away at it. When you pull the blade back out, you do notice like there's slight discoloration on the blade itself. Like everywhere they kind of nibbled. It doesn't seem to be damaged, but that is not a thing that they should be able to do.
Listen, those teeth down there look interesting. They've got some... Rowena, come here. I mean, don't get in the water, for God's sake. See the cuneiform on those teeth? I think we could make some thaler off that, and I think maybe we might get some information off of it. But you see those bastard little fish swimming around? They will flat out mess you up. I'm fairly certain. Look what they did to my spear. So,
oh my! They would do bad things. They would do bad things to flesh. But I would like to try to look. I would like to try to look at those symbols and see if I can see what they are.
You got lore master.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, you can roll a cunning test. You're looking through water. It's not the cleanest water. I mean, it's clean, but it's not the clearest water. It's dark. There's fish moving about. But yeah,
under 15.
They're consistent with characters like Symbaroum, like the kind of that ancient civilization, right? You don't know exactly what they mean, and each one has got its own individual symbol. But yeah, it seems to have some significance. It could be sold. It could be something. It's very curious. So
these are ancient. That's Symbaroum. And she's imagining that this would go over well for her if she were to bring back something with this. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this would be good.
Well, let's see if we can scoop them out then.
What if we take, again, we've got the rusty dagger nobody cares about, or the demon stone, which clearly we're fine with being destroyed. Put it on a string, toss it that way, and then somebody else scoops the stuff while they go after it, because apparently they go towards things dropping in the water.
Right. So can't we just... Did I hear correctly that they were eating like the lichen?
Yes. Like there's like these little growths coming out of the water, and whenever the water laps and knocks a little bit of debris down, they seem to rush towards it.
So we basically fish them with some of the lichen on a rope over here so that we can try to grab that. So we... distraction. Fishing distraction.
Absolutely. I've got a fishing. In my pack, I've got some fishing line. So I'll put some lichen on a line and see if I can draw them off.
Okay, that sounds like a great plan. Who is going to try to scoop up some of these things? Who's going to do it?
I'll try.
All right, Jinzo, give me a quick test. I'm going to give you a +2 from the clever plan that Rowena and Madjac have pieced together here. So quick +2.
Gives me a 15 total. I got the 13 success.
You time it perfectly. Madjac gets his line out, wraps some of the lichen around the end, dangles it into the water, and you see just dozens of these tiny, again, they're like the size of a thumbnail, just flock over in the direction of this thing. But the minute you put your hand into the water and try to scoop some of this up, you see they immediately turn, make a U-turn, and they come roaring back at you. But you're able to just, with this big scoop of your hand, just bring up dirt, debris. You're able to get some of these little teeth-shaped things. They're not teeth. As you pull them up, you realize they're definitely not. They have that shape, and you pull them onto the land. And so you have about a dozen of these things in your hand. They're, again, the size of a shark tooth. They are in the shape of a tooth, but you realize, Jinzo, as you pull them out and you see these little fish come at you. One of them even leaps briefly out of the water ever so slightly as you pull it away, but you do manage to dodge it. They almost feel like bone to you, not unlike those little ornaments and such that you found in the previous apartments.
Well, here you are.
Wow, you're so quick. You're so, oh my God, I thought they were going to get you. And that's fantastic. Do you mind?
Not at all.
Yeah. Rowena, I mind. I want a couple of those myself, just in case you die down here. I want to show a profit for this. So,
and she'll
Wouldn't
look
you just loot her
at
if she
them, and she
dies?
doesn't actually know what they mean, but she'll take them and take the ones that look like they're less cool looking, and she'll like hand those to Madjac.
thanks.
Okay.
I mean, I'll allow you to broker them. It's just in case you die down here. I want to make sure some of them get out so your people can take a look at them. You fall down a hole, we're not going after your body. So, we've got to be able to show the Ordo Magica something.
Of course.
For science.
Yes.
For science.
For science.
You planning ahead is so important. Yes.
Exactly.
I like to think Rowena takes the S's and the Z's and the X's and then gives Madjac the I and the O.
Here, take these crappy ones.
Okay. So as far as you can tell, in this room with another pool, it's again not a hot spring though. The water was kind of cold, Jinzo, when you put your hand into it, but it did seem clear and clean. It didn't seem like when you look into it, you're not having any trouble. It's not cloudy. The path moving the direction you've been going appears to have collapsed. Like you can see there's like a cave in, and then there's this path off to the left where you see a stream that is slowly, kind of coming away from this. Kind of seems to be going off in that direction. Like you can see that path going off. It looks again more like a cave than it does like one of those big arching tunnels, but there definitely seems to be a walkable path.
Can I see if the cave-in was intentional or just a collapse?
Give me a cunning test. Do you have any kind of crafting related abilities or anything like that?
No, nothing like that. My cunning's not too high either, but I'll roll it.
Yeah, just give me cunning.
Oh, right on, 7.
Wow.
As you get over, you definitely get the sense as you look, like you can see somewhere along the top, there's like a little bit of a hole. It doesn't look like it's fully, like you could potentially, like if you were really small, none of you are really small, you could probably climb up and over, but it's really tiny and it would probably take you hours to try to clear this, and you don't even know how deep it goes, but you can see scrapes and such along the ceiling of the cave and along the sides. You definitely get the sense that someone maybe was like using some kind of like a spear or a weapon to try to force it. It does look that you do get that sense. Maybe to cover their escape, perhaps, comes into your mind.
Cave-in. Unnatural.
Well, if they were trying to block access off to the surface, they might have retreated deeper. But if they're alive, they need fresh water. So maybe if we follow this stream, we're going to find out where they're layered up now.
I like it.
Okay.
Before we go, welcome Raiders, the Rebel pilot. Thank you so much for that raid.
Nice.
Thanks, man. Okay. So you follow the stream. Did I hear that right, Aaron?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So you're taking the lead again?
Yeah.
All right.
Not that Madjac's happy about it, but he's going to do it because he's
of course. So
You're on a roll. So many good ideas.
You just want to see
You-
me die.
I don't want to see you die. I just want to laugh at your death.
That's fair.
Okay, so you push forward, and it's not that long of a tunnel, but it does wind here and there. Once or twice, like you have to like take a few steps in the water. None of it seems to be too terrible. Like occasionally you see more of those fish, but you can kind of time it and space it so as it's not too much of an issue. But you're able to mostly keep dry. Eventually, the closer and further away you get from that small pool you just left, like you don't really see those tiny little fish anymore. They just kind of seem to disappear. And then the tunnel opens. And when you do, and you hold the lantern up and you hold the torch up, no longer is there really like a ceiling that's reflecting the light. No longer is there really the other side of the cavern that's reflecting the light. You see in front of you the largest cavern that you've been in before. It's a massive chamber. And it's all like it's just blackness in every direction. And you can see in front of you the water of this stream connects to this large underground lake. You can see these dark waters that are lapping up gently against this shore. You can see the shoreline is thin. There's not a ton of space between where the water is and where the rock is, but you can probably kind of sneak up and down to the south, to the north. You notice that when you hold up the torchlight and kind of look off in the lantern light to the southwest, the water kind of reflects it for a while, and you see eventually there's like a peninsula that juts out from the wall that you're on deeper into the lake. And you even see shapes even further, like these from a distance, like these matte black looking structures, not structures, I should say, but like growth, like rock crystal growth of some kind. And you notice that the reflection coming from the center of the lake seems fairly muted. All of you go ahead and roll a vigilant test as you come inside here and you start to peek around and look.
That's a fail
Clearly another
again.
murder room.
Okay.
Big fail.
Big fail.
Succeed with a 7 margin.
Madjac and Gwydion, both of you don't just see all these things as Jinzo and Reina, or maybe looking at the water or trying to get a sense of the shape of this. It's a huge, huge cavern. You also hear something. You hear the sounds of singing. It's a very sad song. Like it's like you can hear like these lyrics kind of echoing in this ragged, almost fragile voice. Madjac, I'm going to say you're not entirely sure about the words themselves, but you hear them. Gwydion, you actually recognize it. Your familiarity with barbarian culture, like it sounds like a sad tune, and you can hear some of the language, some of the diction, the dialect coming out. And it's just sort of very faint. You can barely hear it. It's just at the edge of your ears. And Gwydion, you hear fathers, mothers, young and old, left us in the dark and cold, running, fighting, life ahead. Here I stay among the dead, silent, frozen, never dry, alone to sing, alone to cry. And we'll go ahead and end on that for tonight, and we'll pick up there next week. The full
Super
crew.
creepy.
Nice. Nice.
All right.
I'm not swimming here.
There's no lifeguards then, so you gotta be careful. All right. There's a peninsula. I told you there's a peninsula. You can wander out there and see what's up.
Oh god.
I'm sure when we meet the singing individual, they're going to be very welcoming to us, and it will be a
Hospitable.
heartfelt reunion. Yeah,
Never know.
I'll just do a duet
Never
with
know.
them because clearly singing is in Gwydion's wheelhouse.
Yeah,
Mom?
yeah.
Mom, is that you? Mom, is that you?
It's a cavern bard versus a tavern bard.
Look at you. Look at you, dude. Classic long. All right. I should probably turn some of this sound off, right? I got this cave ambience. Okay. So that's it for tonight. We'll pick up next week. Kipster should be back. So I think we should have a full crew. Very excited. And we'll see just what the hell did you all just find, and perhaps who that voice belongs to, and go from there. Hope you enjoyed it. You guys liking the crawl through the
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
loving
Dungeons?
it, loving it.
Yep.
Cool. Very nice. I was looking forward to this. I like this. I spruced it up a bit, added a few little things here and there. So those of you, if you're watching this and you watch, and you know the adventure, yeah, I added a few things, but we all do. That's what we do. All right, let's do some closing plugs, and we're gonna get out of here. We're gonna go ahead and just turn it over to Aaron. Aaron, tell us what is going on over on Garblag.
Well, let's see. Over on Garblag, next Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can see Jim back in the GM seat. We're back to Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 4th Edition. We're in the midst of a bar brawl with a group of angry halflings. Now, if you haven't played a bar brawl with a group of angry halflings, you are missing out. So come check it out. And then on Thursday at the same time, Ben will be continuing season 3 of our House Dargouche Modifius Dune campaign. So definitely check that out as well.
Fantastic. As for us here, next game's tomorrow night. So Aaron, what do we got going on tomorrow?
So tomorrow we're going to be continuing with some more Warhammer, but instead of fantasy, we're going to go with Cubicle 7's Wrath and Glory, or Warhammer 40K, where our group of troubleshooters, our team of heroes who've been working for the Veronius Flotilla, have ascended to Tier 3. So if you want to see what a group of Tier 3 Wrath and Glory characters can get themselves into, definitely check us out tomorrow night, 7 p.m., right here on the Lollygaggers. I promise you I will try to kill somebody tomorrow night. I've been very unsuccessful, so I'm going to give it my best shot.
Yeah, close. Getting close
I've
a couple
tried.
times.
I've been
Got
tried
real
really
close last. It was this close to a TPK. Like I feel like last
Pretty
night, even
close.
more than a Chaos Parade, that felt like, oh crap, if that thing stays alive. All right. And then for the rest of our schedule, Saturday we got Call of Cthulhu. As per usual, we are starting up Mexico City. Very excited. Monday we're gonna be doing some Fragged Empire. Tuesday we should be back to Frontier Scum. I think we're ready to go. And next Thursday, obviously, we'll be back for more Symbaroum. If you haven't already done so, go ahead and check out the Adventures in Lollygagging YouTube channel. Throw a subscribe over there if you're willing. Like some videos, put some comments on there, etc., etc. Join the Discord. The link is in the description if you're watching this later or if you're listening to this later on the podcast feed. And thank you to the Rebel Pilot. Thank you to, oh my God, I had him up a second ago. Thank you to Blue Codge D&D, and thank you to Twisted Fates for all of the raids tonight. We really do appreciate it. We're going to carry it forward then. We're going to raid 20 sides to every story. They are playing Forbidden Lands, another free league game, and one that a few of us here have played. Lovely game. So follow that raid. Have a great rest of your night. We'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.
Good night.